Today I'm going to be talking about 15 coins that I'm bullish on for holding long term. Now, these are coins that I am personally holding long term and pretty much I will say, are probably the only coins I'm holding long term at this point. And you're going to notice that there's not a lot of mineable coins or a lot of new coins that, other crypto miners are talking about. And that's because I like to stick to the tried and true coins that have been around, that have proven themselves. I'm not necessarily chasing profits. I am chasing more so those projects that have proven themselves, and those are what I'm holding. I do hold some other newer ones, some other utility coins, but in the end, those are used to swap into another coin. As an example, Presearch may be used to swap into Ethereum. Storage providers may be used to swap into Ethereum. Demo may be used to swap into Matic. And you'll see as I go through this list, I'll kind of talk about the reasonings for some of these and how I leverage them in my portfolio. I'm not going to be talking about my specific portfolio. I'm just going to be talking about the coins that I am long-term bullish on. And so we're going to start off with what is probably on everybody's list, and that is Bitcoin, right? The longest asset in the cryptocurrency market, and also the single most asset that has gained the most in the history of finance. And so, obviously, super bullish on Bitcoin, massive store of value. Everybody has already talked about this enough. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I do like a bulk of holdings to be in Bitcoin. Next up, we're going to talk about Ethereum. And I know this may not sit well with a lot of miners that feel they were, kind of rugged with Ethereum. However, Ethereum still is the platform to build on and the platform to deploy on. And so pretty much for that reason alone, I've always been a big advocate of Ethereum. Yes, I've sold at the wrong times. I've sold tons of Ethereum back when it was like $15. I've sold a bunch when it was $80. Through the years, I have sold a bunch. But generally, when I have sold, has been to acquire more hardware, which has been used to accumulate more coins over time. And so no regrets there selling, but we are continuing to stack Ethereum in any ways possible. Some of those may be utilizing services like Unmineable or Zergpool, where you can mine a cryptocurrency with your CPU or your GPU or even FPGAs and ASICs, and they will auto swap to Ethereum for you. Another option is to mine some of the newer currencies, like Zealous, hold those, and when a price target hits, then go ahead and swap those out and into Ethereum. Very rarely do I swap mineable assets out for cash. Typically, I will swap into other coins, even if I'm using them to buy hardware, which leads me into the next coin, and that is Litecoin. And I know a lot of people don't like Litecoin mainly because of price movements. And, over the past year it has been relatively stable in its price. However, my viewpoint is that is because it is a heavily utilized transactional currency. And with that, what you get is you get equal buy and sell pressure because lots of people are using it as a money mover. As an example, you might take some mineable asset. Let's just take Zealous as an example. Zealous isn't on Coinbase. It's not on major exchanges. So what you might do is if you want to convert that into a coin, let's say like Render or Tau or one of those major coins, what you might do is you might take that Zealous and sell it for Litecoin. So you're basically buying Litecoin. Then you're immediately sending that Litecoin to a bigger exchange and you're turning around and selling that Litecoin. So essentially you're getting that equal buy and sell pressure minus any fees that were involved. And that's what a lot of Litecoin is. And that's why you don't see a lot of price movement. And that's because it has been successful in that it is a transactional currency. It's on BitPay. You can use it as Newegg to buy pretty much anything new. Actually, in fact, anything Newegg sells, you can use Litecoin through BitPay to buy. And so that's a big reason why I'm super bullish on Litecoin. Have been for a very long time. I originally mined Litecoin back in 2014 on GPUs before it was really ASIC. And so super bullish on it, mainly from a utility standpoint. Anytime I'm buying hardware, I'm really using Litecoin for those purchases. And the next one is going to be Cardano. Now, this is one that I was kind of on the fence of putting on the list or not. I do hold a little bit, but I don't hold a lot of this. However, what has kind of happened over the past year is Cornucopias came out, or is still in development, but they released their nodes, and I did buy a license to run one of their gaming nodes, and that license allows me to run that game node on Cardano. And so they're basically, it's a kind of a multi-chain game, so you can run on Cardano and also on Ethereum. Opted for the Cardano one. And this is more of a, what I'll call a speculative platform for me. There's not a lot that's on this platform that really interests me as far as, utilizing the platform itself. However, it is one that I've been paying close attention to over the years. And so I am holding a small bit, and I will probably get more involved once that game officially launches. A lot of my holdings with Cardano are probably going to revolve around Copy and Cornucopias game. And so we're going to see how this one plays out. I would say that from my list, you'll notice there's a couple speculative ones that are in here. This is one of those. Next up is going to be Dogecoin. A lot of people look at Dogecoin as a meme currency, but along the lines of Litecoin, it is truly a transactional currency, and it has a lot more usage than a lot of people may realize. It's also on BitPay, which means you can use it at Newegg, you can use it at any retailer that accepts BitPay as their processor for credit or for crypto payments. It is also available at a lot of retail places. A lot of people don't realize there is a program called Doge Express, which essentially allows point of sale systems to accept Doge. It's a really unique system. There's all kinds of places that do it. There's pizza shops, there's dog grooming services, there's all kinds of places that are now using Doge Express. And another good use for Doge as well is you can actually use it as a tipping method on X/Twitter. So what you can do with that is if you have the My Doge app, you can actually go on, and anytime somebody posts something, you like it, you can just reply in a comment. Basically, you tag the My Doge app, and you can say, I want to tip this person 1 Doge or 10 Doge or whatever it may be. And it will actually send that Twitter handle, that Doge. All they got to do is set up the app, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about getting a wallet address or anything. It's a real seamless process. I really like it. And again, I'm not in Doge for the meme or the price increase. It's more that it has been established as a transactional currency, and we're seeing that really work out in the real world. Next up is Polygon, aka Matic. Now, there's been a lot of talk lately with Matic. It hasn't seen a lot of price movement. In fact, when I first got into Matic, the price was $1.31. It's now 57 cents. Obviously, that hurts a little bit, but I see this as an alternative to Ethereum. Obviously, it's kind of like an additional layer on Ethereum. However, they've kind of formulated their own path with their platform since the last bull run. And so there's a lot of things being built on this. Demo runs on this, which I love because I have a Demo device in my car, and it pays out in Demo every Monday. And one of the things I use that for is I actually use that to DCA into Matic. So I can just do a direct swap of those earnings straight into Matic. And over time, I'm starting to build up that Matic portfolio. And one of the really cool things about Matic as well is that this is another one that is on BitPay. And this means that you can use it at Newegg, you can use it at other retailers. So if you don't want to hold Litecoin, you don't want to have Doge, you can always use Polygon and pay with Matic on those platforms as well, which I absolutely love. Next up is Solana. Now with Solana, this is what I will say is also more of a speculative platform for me. I have held a little bit of Solana through the years. I have spun up Solana validator nodes. They run on my local network. I don't publish my RPC servers publicly. I just did it to kind of understand how their validator system works. One of the nice things I really do like about Solana is that anybody can run a validator node for free. If you don't want it to be incentivized, you can run it for free. If you want it to be incentivized, all you need to do is run it, hold Solana in that wallet, and you will accumulate rewards. Just know that you're going to be spending at least 1 Solana a day in voting rights alone. That can kind of give you an idea of the level of rewards that you could be getting in by running those nodes. So that was kind of like my foray into Solana. However, since then, a lot of things have started to build on. Everybody's familiar with the meme coins that have been building on Solana. But the other thing that has been building on Solana are a lot of DePIN projects. We've got Helium, and I personally have a Helium mobile phone that I get the mapping rewards from every day. And so I use those mapping rewards, again, similar to what I do with Demo. I use those to DCA into Solana. And that has been a really good strategy over the long term. And so that has worked out real well. Another popular project that runs on Solana in the quote-unquote DePIN space would be Hive Mapper. I personally don't have a Hive Mapper, but I know tons of people that do. They love those devices. That is not for me. I'm not one of those people that wants to physically go out and map roads. I like the Demo because you just keep it plugged in. You go out. As long as you go out once a week, you get the credit. You don't have to worry about being active in trying to accumulate rewards. It really is passive as long as you're just doing your day-to-day thing. The next one, this may seem a little odd to people, but Ethereum Classic. And this is probably more just of nostalgia for me because I have been in the mining space for such a long time. And this, again, is another speculative play. There's not a lot built on ETC yet. There are some people that are trying to build some things, and so hopefully we get there. Again, this is the original Ethereum before the ETH rollback, and so I still am somewhat bullish on it. The price doesn't fluctuate a crazy amount, but we do get swings here and there. As you can actually see, if we hop to like the 3-month chart, you can kind of see that we've got swings from $36 all the way down to $23. So a little bit of swings there. But this is just one that I kind of hold, and you can just hold a few coins of it. No big deal. There are miners, cheap ASIC miners that you can use with these, like the iPolas that only use 200 watts of power. You could probably accumulate like, I don't know, 0.1 ETC a day or something like that, with like a Jazz miner, things like that. And so if you have those miners, definitely, I would, in my opinion, I would pick ETC as a long-term hold over any other ETH hash mineable coin. And next up, is this one's probably going to shock some people as well, is Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash, I look at very similar to Litecoin in that it's a really good transactional currency. It is accepted at BitPay. So once again, you can use this at Newegg. You can use this at other retailers. And the price does swing quite a bit. And in fact, just at this 24-hour chart, you can see went from 380 up to 394. That's a pretty big swing. If we look at the 3-month of this chart, you can see it was up at $700. So it's down quite a bit. but it does get those wild swings. And these are great for when I'm looking to buy hardware, because Litecoin's going to be that stable coin across the board for the most part. BCH is going to have wild swings. So if I see a price spike like this and I'm looking to buy some hardware, typically I'll just jump on that hardware because we get that massive bump up in price. It makes that hardware appear cheaper than what it really is just because of that wild swing. Next up is Digibyte. Now, Digibyte has gone through some recent drama around their project and the future of the project. However, they have been around for a long time. They have been building. Over the past couple years, they've been working on this major upgrade. They've been testing it. The community has been helping them test it over the past couple months, and it's getting very close to release. It's going to be a major milestone release. Really looking forward to that. And the other part of Digibyte is there are less than 10 years left of emissions from the mining standpoint. So that is another thing to look out for. You can see here the circulating supply versus the total supply. So we're getting super close to that emissions running out. And if you're familiar with like Caspa, this has similar where this has a monthly reward reduction. I believe it reduces by like 1% every month. The base block reward does. So this is another one. And Digibyte is another one of those transactional currencies. And if you go on their wiki site, they actually have a list of online retailers that accept Digibyte as payment. They are not on BitPay, but they do have their own kind of marketplace listing of everybody that accepts it. The next one is probably on nobody's radar except for mine, and that is Vertcoin. Now, Vertcoin really is a personal mining favorite of mine. If you're not familiar with Vertcoin, I do have a video on it. Essentially, Vertcoin came out when Litecoin went ASICs. But back in 2014, when I was really getting into mining, is when Vertcoin launched, and it aimed to keep a kind of a Bitcoin fork. So it's really a combination of Bitcoin and Litecoin on its own algo that aimed to be basically ASIC resistant, and for the most part is GPU only. You can mine it with CPUs if the network hash rate drops low enough, but in the end, it was aimed to be very GPU centric. Their algorithm is amazing from a technological standpoint. It kind of uses the memory side of the GPU only. And what that means is you can do gaming while you're mining at the same time. This is probably one of the only algorithms that can do that. And that is super cool. I love that. In fact, they have a one-click miner gamers can run. They can install it, just hit start mining. It'll start mining. It's super seamless, easy point of entry to get like gamers that already have that hardware into mining. And so I'm a huge fan of this. And it also works on any GPU that has 2 gigabytes of VRAM or higher. So that's going to be, I personally mine it on RX 560 2 gigs. Those are cards that I bought brand new in 2017. So cards that are 7 years old, still mining, still doing pretty well. I'm actually solo mining Vertcoin still to this day with those cards, and they're doing an amazing job. Love it. Love the project. And so this is one that I'm bullish on. And something that I did not mention earlier, every project I'm covering today, with the exception of one, has hardware wallet capabilities. Vertcoin, in fact, every coin that I've talked to up to this point, including Vertcoin, is available on the Trezor. Most of these are also available on OneKey and Ledger as well. Next up is Bitcoin Gold. So this is another one that kind of falls into the GPU mining realm. However, it's also a transactional currency. A lot of people don't realize, but Bitcoin Gold is actually on Nell payments. So if you're using Nell payments as a payment processor, any websites that are using that, you can actually pay with Bitcoin Gold. And this was actually a big favorite of mine last bull run. It did really well for me, and I continue to hold quite a bit of this. So if we take a look at the yearly chart, we can see it did hit $60 back in March? Yep, March 8th. So a couple months ago. It's currently down at around $26. So this is one, again, if you've got GPUs, you're not sure what to mine right now. Vertcoin, Bitcoin Gold, definitely some projects to take a look at, especially since kind of, profits aren't there really too much across the board, and a lot of people are just down and out. These are two that I definitely recommend at least taking a look at. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't. Next up is Zcash, and Zcash is going to be the only privacy-based coin that's on my list. And the big reason this has made my list is because it's privacy, but it's also a transactional currency. It's on Now Payments. There's also a website called paywithz.cash. If you go to that website, it will actually have a marketplace listing of everybody that accepts a Zcash for payment. Some of them are gift card based, like you can get Dunkin' Donuts gift cards with it. There are electronics retailers you can use it at. There's tons of places that you can pay with Zcash, and with it being a privacy coin, it's even that much better from a payment perspective. And that's why it has made my list. Next up, this one will probably surprise everybody, and that is Wax. I'm a big fan of Wax. The ticker is WaxP now. They used to be an ERC20 token, but they are on their own blockchain. And they are my go-to NFT platform. So there's tons of NFTs that I own, and all of them are on Wax. Big fan of just the Wax protocol in general. I do use the Anchor wallet with my Ledger device so that I'm able to transact on Wax, including Atomic Hub, which is kind of that NFT marketplace. And it works great. I just love how everything works with the protocol. Everything is super cheap. The marketplace is super cheap. There's tons of super good projects on that marketplace. And I mean, really, really big names on there as far as NFT backings go. And so if you're looking for anything from an NFT standpoint, I definitely recommend taking a look at their collections and just seeing what they have out there. Typically, I don't talk about NFTs on this channel, but I do hold a decent amount, and they are all on the Wax network. And you can mine to pro hashing with GPUs, CPUs, ASICs, and get paid out in Wax. So it's a service similar to Unmineable or like Zergpool, where they'll auto swap for you, but they do have Wax payouts on there, which is kind of my go-to for acquiring Wax using GPUs. And then the last, but definitely not least on my list, and this shouldn't be a shock to anybody, is going to be Vertcoin. I'm very bullish on Vertcoin, and it's not just because I've been in it so long or that it's phone mineable. It is the very first public blockchain as a service platform. And what that means is you can spin up real blockchains on Verus. So most chains like Ethereum, Salon, Polygon, you're spinning up tokens on those networks. You're not spinning up a full blockchain. However, with Verus, you have the option you can spin up a token, or you can spin up an entire blockchain, and that blockchain immediately becomes merge mineable with Verus. So as long as the node adopts it, you basically are getting all of that security that the Verus network has. You're pretty much getting from day one on your network. Again, as long as the mining pools adopt it, or anybody that's solo mining, as long as they adopt it by running the node, you're instantly getting all of that security. You also have full DeFi within the wallet. And it is 50% proof of work, 50% proof of stake. But the staking side is 100% in wallet staking. You don't have to give up your coins. You don't have to send them or delegate them. Everything happens in wallet. You retain custody of the coins the whole time. All the DeFi, you don't have to connect your wallet to some outside system. Everything is done within the Verus wallet, and it's all on chain. It's got bridging to Ethereum. It's got this massive world. They've got a multiverse that they've launched. They just launched their own like ChatGPT version that actually just launched within the past 24 hours that will allow people to run their own model, kind of using the Verus network. And Verus has actually already spun it up in the Discord, where they're using it basically. If you have any questions about Verus, you can get in that Discord, you plug it into that Verus GBT model, and it will tell you basically everything. It'll tell you how merge mining works. It'll tell you how to spin up a coin. It'll tell you about the tokenomics. It'll tell you literally anything you need to know. This is the one coin that does not have hardware wallet support. So keep that in mind. Everything else on my list does have hardware wallet support. This one does not. That's really, at this point, that's the only drawback. I've been in Vertcoin since 2019. So I've been mining it for a really long time. Yeah, it's I've been mining it with phones, tablets, CPUs. I originally got into FPGAs just because there was a bitstream for Verus. My Black Miner FPGA was bought specifically because they had announced they had a Verus bitstream. Unfortunately, by the time I got the device, Verus had already forked to get those FPGAs off. However, I was able to use that hardware on other networks, so not a big deal, but that just kind of tells you how involved I've always been in the Verus ecosystem, and big fan of that project. I know a lot of people don't like the nodes or how involved the wallet is, but it is a full-featured wallet, and it kind of is. The way it was built, it kind of needed to be that way, just to get you all of those features. And then there's just a couple honorable mentions I did want to bring up. And these are coins that I've held in the past, not necessarily in my long-term strategy right now. And that is Dash is one of them. Dash is another transactional currency. That actually used to be my favorite money mover. However, they've lost a lot of hardware wallet support lately, and so that's why it actually doesn't make my list anymore. The new Trezor Safe 5 that's coming out, there's actually pre-orders for right now. They dropped Dash support on that, and so for that reason, I've shifted. As you've seen, I've got a bunch of transactional currencies in here, and so I decided we're gonna kind of just hold off on Dash and not accumulate anymore. Another one is BNB. I used to do a lot on the BNB network. However, some of those projects have now shifted to being able to be on Polygon. And so I've kind of replaced that with Polygon. Stellar is another one. I used to be in Stellar Lumen a lot. Not really too much anymore. And then the two other ones that I do want to mention that I'm still a big fan of, I'm just kind of on the fence on if I want to hold them long term or not. And one is Monero. So everybody knows Monero is kind of that go-to privacy coin. However, there are some concerns with regulation and that with where we might end up with Monero and not being able to actually maybe use it in the future. And so I'm kind of really concerned with that, especially when we talk about Monero. And so I am really holding off on accumulating any more Monero at this point. What I have, I'm holding, but I'm not really looking to accumulate or hold more going into the future until there is more clarity on regulations surrounding privacy coins in the US. And last but not least is Firo. And I do want to bring up the Firo chart. A lot of people don't like Firo just because of some past interviews and how things went down, and just maybe attitudes towards miners. But I'm still a big fan of Firo, and Firo does something very unique. So this is a privacy coin. This launched, I believe it was in 2017, 2018. It was originally Zcoin, and they rebranded to Firo. As I mentioned, it's a privacy coin. However, they do things a little bit different. So the way Monero and like MWeb with Litecoin work is they obfuscate the transaction. So you kind of see that UTXO, and then you only see the header information of it. It obfuscates all the details, and that's kind of how that works. The way Firo does it is it actually abolishes the coin completely. So you end up with a UTXO, and then that UTXO basically disappears, and then you end up with a new UTXO. So the way that they're doing, kind of like abolishing the coin and generating fresh coins at the output of it, is really unique. Something that a lot of other privacy coins aren't doing. It is GPU mineable. It's very GPU centric. And so for that reason, I really do like Firo. I do hold some Firo. I'm actually running a Firo node. However, not really at this point. Again, this kind of falls into that privacy coin regulatory bucket where I've got Zcash, mainly because it's accepted at a lot of places. I'm holding that, but I don't want to hold multiple privacy coins at this point until there's more clarity. So that's it. Those are my top 15 coins that I am long-term holding. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Let me know if there's coins that I left out that you thought should have been included, your reasoning why. And also let me know if you want me to do a similar video on more of my short-term, I'll call mining coins that I'm bullish on going into the upcoming bull run.